What's going on, everybody? Week 6, another Sunday stream. Obviously, full slate. Let me get the promos out for the boys, get everybody in chat, and let's get to it. Obviously, we have Jets Denver going on right now overseas. An ugly, ugly, ugly game so far. Damn. The Jets are abysmal, as we know. Broncos and Bo Nix. Broncos defense is fantastic, but that defense is ridiculously bad. I mean, defense is ridiculously good. Excuse me. The Jets offense is ridiculously bad. Bo Nix, though, he's also just kind of disgusting. But give me one more second, boys. Get the promo out and let's dive into it. We have massive slate, some boosts to use. Not that many this week. Books are holding back. I know it's normal for them to um, give a lot of boosts to start the season, then dial it back. And of course, in the playoffs, give out their boosts, but not a ton of boosts. But give me one second, boys. Getting the promo out, and we're gonna get right into it. I have a bunch of stuff that I bet already this week. A lot of times, I always come in with plays. I have actually done some adjustments to my EV calcs on Pick the Odds, just a little bit. A couple of really cool features, as you see here. A lot more Kalshi. And Pick the Odds, we're looking at the live game right now. Live liquidity with the number of contracts available, the price that they're at, and the liquidity within these markets on Kalshi. This is an amazing new feature dropped by PTO. I think I dropped it Thursday, and we talked about it and used it on stream a bit. But we're going to find some stuff to use it on as you see this updating live in real time for this Jets-Broncos game that, of course, is happening live and in real time. And there was a touchdown boost. I didn't use it pregame. I still have it, so it was a 30%er. So we're going to be checking back in on this game, and I'm going to definitely be looking to get in on that 30% boost on a live anytime touchdown, and we'll definitely be using the new feature because depending on what the liquidity is looking like in certain markets, I don't know. Like this is going to be a test for me right now. We're going to see because I don't know if like Novig, Profit, they're trading touchdowns live. I feel like obviously it's very possible. Obviously, it's also possible that they're not. I don't see them up right now, but it looks like Kalshi at the very least is. So we'll do some live devigging, and we're going to try to find a live touchdown. I think the boost is touchdown only. It is touchdown only. So we'll try to find some live stuff here. We'll be checking back and forth on this one. PTO also, if you guys don't know, has the box score for the games and play-by-play. So you don't need to be checking like ESPN or whatever. This is so much faster than that is in terms of updating. But we'll be checking back in here, looking at some live stuff to bet, as well as, of course, go through our EV filters and try to find some plays. Like I mentioned, did some updates to both player props and my game lines for NFL filters. And then, of course, we have the traditional odd screen where we can do some manual EV stuff, which we're absolutely going to do. We're going to go game by game, find some first touchdowns to bet, some anytime, some props, any last minute game lines. I have a lot of stuff that I've bet, and fortunately today I've had a very good amount of CLV, which obviously isn't a guarantee, but obviously is the name of the game. So we could talk through some of those spots. Maybe there are some spots to double down, fade, middle potentially. So if you guys have been on stream with me the whole week, hopefully you guys, saw these things happen live. I would assume you did if you're on. I mean, you definitely did because I talked about everything on stream. Maybe like one or two plays I bet this morning. But right now I'm sweating RJ Harvey under rushing receiving and Justin Fields under rushing. So we'll see how this game pans out. Let's get to it and talk about every single game on the board here. Rams Ravens. Now, I guess it was like in the air that Lamar might play, though the market was like telling us that there's no way in hell he's playing, and then obviously officially ruled out. And we didn't see a ton of movement here. Got to like, where is this? Yeah, we were sitting like 7 all week realistically, getting some 6.5s I'm seeing now. That's interesting. Let's check out the Novig liquidity feature and see where the money has been coming in here. So I think the Ravens are catching some money at 7, but interesting. Obviously, we know Cooper Rush is starting. Cooper Rush better than Snoop Huntley, but obviously still not a great quarterback. And of course, neither of those players are anywhere near the stratosphere of Lamar Jackson. We have the Rams, of course, coming off that disgusting Thursday last week where they have some extra rest now. But I will mention, I'm sure you guys are aware if you guys have been tuned in, but if you haven't been, there's been a pretty crazy windstorm on the way in the Northeast. So this Baltimore game could be a rain. I don't know if the rain's going to come down too hard, but it's definitely going to be a very windy game. Good thing for the Jets and Giants. The Giants play on Thursday, and the Jets are obviously playing as we speak. Because if it was at MetLife today, that would be a shitty. Maybe if we caught some news and got some unders and some good value, that would have been sick. But Ravens Rams. This is one of the few games I haven't really bet a ton of. I haven't bet anything on in like all week. I kind of ignored with the injury information, and so I'm like the touchdown stuff was kind of just bad. Like it makes sense that Puka Nacua at this point is like even money to score because he's a freaking dog, but it's just like not something to like bet at this point. Like, yeah, this was like even when I saw this like 2 or 3 years ago. Now we're sitting 115 at circa. Alshon now officially has touchdowns up. I knew that was coming. They have spoke about it for a bit, or they kind of keep things low key, but one thing that you knew that was coming, and now it's officially here. And PTO again has the live with the contracts, liquidity, and at the price as well. These are all for over money, so nothing under coming in for Puka on the touchdown market. The Ravens, as we know, absolutely decimated by injuries. I'm pulling up Underdog on my other computer. Let me get FTN up as well so we can go through some more data. And RBDSM, it's a free website. It's a website for like team information and quarterback information for like success rates, EPAs per play, and things like that. Pretty good filtering. I'll share my screen for a second. We'll be going back and forth between RBDSM, free website, Pick the Odds, of course, one of the best websites for positive EV betting, arbitrage, real-time odds, an amazing sports betting tool, and FTN, which is also an amazing sports betting tool, but they're more like stats focused. They are the home of Aaron Schatz's DVOA. They also have some other proprietary NFL data that like isn't anywhere else. Pick the Odds, of course, is going to help you with like the market and finding the best price, which in some cases, or probably most cases, is all you need. But if you are more of like an originator or modeler and want to know some more of like the whys behind picks that aren't strictly devigging, which probably is the best way to do it regardless, FTN is a good place to start. So I'm going to get my stats going here. Should have set this up beforehand, my bad boys. All right, cool. So we'll be able to look at some numbers when we need to, but let's do a quick little look at FTN. I'll pull it up right now, and let's look at the target share and some of the numbers from Cooper Rush's sole start this year, which was last week, which was obviously abysmal. That was week 5, of course. Cooper Rush. Let's look at some passing stuff. So he ended up completing passes, 179 yards, which is of course under his total through those 3 picks. Now, this Rams defense is not the Texans defense, but it still is a pretty solid unit. Let's look at some receiving stuff and see who his top targets were. It, of course, was Zay Flowers, unsurprisingly. Mark Andrews, 3 targets. So definitely a spread out target share game, as you see with Mr. Rush. But of course, against the Texans defense that was motivated, needed a dub. And even in garbage time, I couldn't get there. But against the Ravens, against the Rams, I don't know how probable that is, but with this weather, it's going to be like that. I think we have to look at receiving our props and see if there's any unders that still have value for the Rams and the Ravens, but particularly the Ravens. Now, because there's weather and this isn't like new news, right? Like, obviously these numbers are probably already hit, but with that being said, there could be some that aren't low enough. There also could still be some numbers that have moved too much where there is going to be some value on some of these overs potentially. So let's take a look at some receiving yard props. And I'm going to start with some Rams players. Mark Andrews. Let's see how low we're getting here because I haven't really done enough any research here. I don't know if I saw any Andrews injury news, but I'm not seeing because I FanDuel over here. Let me zoom out. If that's too small for you guys, let me know in chat because I want you guys to be able to see as well. Circa hanging a number? Circa's not hanging an Andrews prop. Penny as low as 23.5, -145 to the over, $500 each way. So again, that's so low, but we have that juice toward the over. Bookmaker mixed in with that as well. MGM at 28.5, -115, where the closest price is DK -109 at 26.5. That's just 2 yards, but still every yard can count. Again, Andrews last week, 3 targets, 2 catches, 22 yards, 7.3 yards per target. Of course, it's been a relatively slow start for Andrews with even Lamar, and we have Isaiah Likely back in the mix. We know Kolar plays a good chunk Let me go back to some FTN quickly. Let's go some like route run stuff. Um, Zay ran 100% of the routes. Bateman 81, Andrews 71, and Likely 47.6. Now, of course, Andrews is still TE1 here, and Likely coming off an injury, so they might be bringing him back a bit slowly, but like trying to bring him back to speed overall. Nuke still having the low target share. Let me look at DeAndre Hopkins stuff because he's just not. He's getting let me put it this way: he's getting a solid target share for the stats that he's playing, but he's not playing a ton of snaps. So let's go back to Nuke and it's 12.5. So you're basically betting on them not connecting a single time, which I think in like some cases is like a safe bet. Personally, as it currently stands, though, I don't think I'm interested at such a low number. This is a game that hasn't really been on my radar, so I don't really want to belabor some stuff. I want to bet some first touchdowns. We have a 30% boost on FanDuel, a SGP boost. So there's a couple of games that I think are potential nuclear kind of games for a lot of players involved, and we'll get to those shortly, and we'll definitely build out some fun stuff for those because why wouldn't we? But I'm going to go through some stuff I played as well. Again, I have some Jets stuff. I have nothing in this game. I think we'll move on from this one, but let's just do a quick EV run because, of course, we're going to try to maximize our EV before anything. What am I looking for? All right, let's do some EV stuff. So the PTO has their default filters, of course. I have made a couple. My test was what I really used all summer pre-NFL stream. I've never used a new EV. I created them, but I don't know if I could delete. I probably can delete, but I just haven't deleted them. I should. YouTube made a great video breaking down filters. So if you guys aren't subscribed on YouTube, follow at Go Bet Smart on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. We do amazing long form content, short form. But my two filters for this year is I'm sure a lot of the returning guys know here. NFL TDs, which is all props. I just named it TDs too quickly. Couldn't rename it. All good. And game lines, which of course are game lines strictly to the NFL. I made some brief changes to these filters, and I'll walk through. So first things first is I added some Kalshi, to all of them. And I feel like I had too much sport trade. Now I'm still like it's still like a hypothesis for how to create my best filters. Now, open to anybody in the chat who has any suggestions, and that's the name of the game, right? Is to try to find the best filters, the best DVIG, and kind of be ahead of these things. I had Sport Trade about some other. I also had their Arizona, their Iowa, but I changed it. I'm going to actually lower this to 1 right now. This is for rushing yards, but we have some Circa, we have some FanDuel, which I added a bit more of. Novig Profit as well. I think eventually these two are going to take over a bit, but let's add some Kalshi. Let's keep it light. Now, Kalshi, Novig Profit, exchanges, prediction markets, they're always going to keep things. And we can add some bookmaker too. They do have some props there. Something probably to do is I want to raise this liquidity a bit because if there's a price that's okay, there's showing DVIG value, but there's only $100, there probably isn't inherently that much value, but at the same time with the prop markets at some of these exchanges, still, they're obviously these prediction markets are still growing, and the liquidity is not always up to par, but at the same time they're getting better and better and stronger. People are flooding the markets, and it's honestly epic. But want to make sure we're capturing enough where we're not overestimating how much liquidity is in the market, but also we're not selling ourselves short and taking bad prices. So let's see 250. I raised it to 200 actually. But let's see with 250. That's only for rushing yards. You have to go through every one if you want to do it, but I want to try to see some more liquidity there. An outlier, how do you make filter every touchdowns on the plus EV tab on mobile? We could go through that tomorrow, brother. Today's streams are PTO stuff. If you're doing some filters on touchdowns for outlier, PTO also has some amazing filters, and PTO you can also try for free as well, and maybe you compare the both. But Mondays and Wednesdays are for outlier. But for the filters on mobile, I think it is in the same settings. You just got to go to your pro, and then you click the 4 arrows on the bottom left-hand corner next to EV, then you can set your filters there. So back to the task at hand here, but hope that helps you out, Mr. L, and definitely can get back to some PTO as well. So A lot of 365, as we know, if you've been on stream. If you have 365 and you're not limited and you're trying to get some things down, of course, this is some great stuff. Fire move under 19.5 to Kalshi and Novik, Flacco, under passing TDs. I've actually seen this a few times this morning because I've been checking all morning. If I had 365, this is a no-brainer bet. Honestly, plus 210 to circa 160, Penny 155. Bookmakers 187. Novik 182. FanDuel 180. So definitely some EV here with a market average of 169 to 210. Obviously, it's going to be a massive sweat. There could be some garbage time in a 13.5 point blowout. Maybe Joe Flacco decides to turn back the clocks, though he could not do that in Cleveland against the same Packers defense. But again, now they're off a bye, whole new system. So from a pure pricing perspective, this is a fantastic bet. But I do want to actually filter this quickly while I noticed, because I want to get some bookmaker in there, because if bookmaker showing the price like that, definitely an oversight by me to not have any in the first place. That was passing TDs. That's why I have some bookmaker in most things. And you got to be very diligent when you're making these. Like, one little error is not going to like screw you per se, but if you want to be maximizing, you got to have everything kind of set. Bookmaker's probably worth a 0.75 here. FanDuel's also probably worth a 0.5. Trying to get these weights down perfectly. Again, we're in week 6, so we only have these couple of weeks of data where also there were so many opportunities for the first like 3 weeks, which is, nothing game breaking here. I'm sure you guys all know this. The same way that we have trouble pricing certain things because, we're so new into the season. Odds at, the books were, I think, just a lot better. And there were a lot more opportunities to, find value, and they're getting sharper as the season goes on, which is the name of the game. That's natural and how it goes. But let's keep going here. See, now that I added that bookmaker, the EV has gone down, as you don't see it popping up like big time here. So let's keep looking. This Jacoby Myers has been staring me in the face. Only 2 books here and like good liquidity on Profit X. I personally like this over from like a ball perspective. Market, of course, rules everything around me, but showing some good EV at ESPN here, minus 110, market average 142. Good liquidity to Kalshi on the under, and we can again pull up the liquidity here in the total contracts. 493, $400. But this is betting the over. So interesting here. I'm laying off. But I could see the thought process. This bill under receptions, I love, and the market loves. Like, again, if I had 365, I'd be betting this. Only 2 for 2 for targets last week and 2 receptions. Not a guy who caught passes in college. I know Rodriguez is out, but McNichol still is their more pass catching back, and I think that it's hard to predict that Bill is all of a sudden going to just be like a pass catching back so quickly in his NFL career. I think he can obviously develop the skill set over time. But, a guy who's got 2 targets, 2 catches, not necessarily sustainable. But I do think from a pricing perspective, this is absolutely worth it. And as you see now with adding bookmaker, this dropped to 7.4%. So definitely still some EV on the Flacco, 100% worth it bet if you're 365. If you have 365, I would be honestly going through and betting all of this if you agree with the EV calcs. But because I don't, I can't. Also with this combi, Bet Rivers, Alec Pierce, unfortunately, I don't have limited at Rivers at this point, so can't be betting this, but I would definitely be betting that. Now we're down to some 5%. It's Michael Carter TD. It's shot up to 310. It's also 310 here to Kalshi and to Novig. I saw some reports. I think Carter's getting some love in the market as the RB1, of course, with DeMarcado with that nonsense last week. We have Brissett probably starting. Is that 100% confirmed? I know the market moved in the way that you would think it was. I need to double check that. This is for Monday, but Kyle Pitts receptions over 3.5. Market average 126. We'll stick to some stuff for today. Of course, find some stuff for tomorrow. But a Josh Downs tutty, 250, 296, 290, 300, 340. Let's confirm this availability. I'm about to bet this on my phone. This is showing some value. And enough said, honestly, when it comes to some of this stuff. I was messing around with some money line prices, Commanders, Steelers. Rams, if you guys, I'm going to go out on a limb and say I think all those teams that are massive favorites win. The answer is yes. I do think that those are some of the bigger chalks that come through this week. But 4.2% EV, the plus 340 as we see is clearly available. I'm betting that market average 274. DVIG again to Kalshi, which I think is going to be a big player in the DVIG space. Like I think that like there's going to be some value DVIGing from there with like how the market makers are going to be making the markets. Now it's still like a test, so I actually probably would make sure you stick to QK, and if anything, like drop your Actually, let me put it this way. So I was listening to, I think it was Circle Back, and they were talking about prediction markets, of course, as they always do. Great conversation. Shout out to Rob Pizzola, the Hammer team. They're amazing. And they were talking about how SGPs, there are going to be probably some opportunity coming up now because of the way that they're pricing some of these parlays, and even like Profit X now doing their like request for proposal parlays and SGPs. It can't be that easy to just like get it right immediately. Their pricing, especially when things are happening relatively instantaneously. So this could be a good spot to potentially start to just like try to do what a lot of bettors did when these books went live and like realistically didn't necessarily know exactly what they were doing, and just click a bunch of combos that are like correlated and see what the odds are, because like now, as we know, correlation gets probably overpriced. Correlation gets overpriced on these parlays or these SGPs with correlation on these recreational sports books. But this could be a time where they're still pricing it incorrectly. So it could be a spot to find some value on some fun SGP stuff, especially with correlation. Waller under 39.5. I bet some Waller at 40.5 earlier this week. Not to like past post, just a fact here. I would definitely bet this too. Yes, it's 1 yard off. I'm confirming the price if I got it at minus 110. It was at MGM. But minus 112, 1 yard, but we're still seeing value to again, Kalshi and Profit X. I guess I don't have any bookmaker in here, so let me add some bookmaker to that. And also on pause, so like things could be moving. That's just to make it easier for us. But let me add some bookmaker to that. I should probably definitely have it. With that being said, probably not like all too much, because that's not fully their bread and butter. But if these sharper books are offering these lines, you know that they're at least somewhat more confident in them. I'm going to go 0.5, and I think I'm going to drop Circa, honestly, to 0.5. We have 0.5 also. Yeah, brother, I agree. I bet it. I just bet it on my phone. This is fully a bet. It's still hanging out there. We saw the EV. I bet it. If you want to tell, like, this is just a good bet. Good bets, of course, sometimes lose from the market, but absolutely. Let's add some bookmaker to this receiving yards. All right, perfect. Now let's check some game lines. There was a bunch of Rams alternate lines that were showing some good EV this morning. Let's see if they're still there. I didn't pull trigger, but I could see why. Let's see. We're getting a bunch of alternate numbers here, which I like. DVIG bookmaker, no vig and prime here. Under 37.5. Packers Bengals alternate 42.7%. Now that could be like way too much, but we have 220 at bookmaker, 198 at Kalshi. Let me go back and add some Kalshi to these, honestly. If I don't have them, I think I probably do. Bet types to keep these more general. Money line. I have some Kalshi for money line. That was a total. I have some Kalshi, but let me what's the deal here? Advanced filter, total points. I have some Kalshi, so I don't know why I'm definitely missing something. It's definitely on me. On pause here. It's an alternate total, so I'll have to go in and add it manually there. See, here's the Rams 14.5, seeing 31% to bookmaker, no vig and prime, plus 250, but plus 232 at bookmaker, which is included, 240 FanDuel. So some value if you want to go like balls to the wall on the Cooper Rush and Rams fade. Looks like the market though kind of bought back a bit, but there is, of course, EV. Bet against Penn State in the money line yesterday via low hold play. And I could have put $10 to win 120 instead of one. Oh, brother, we all have the spilt milk there where we're like, damn, like woulda, shoulda, coulda, put some more units on it. But hey, there's a lot more opportunity every single day, especially with the NBA coming up, NHL, of course, in full swing. We have, of course, more college NFL. So this is the best time for gambling is here upon us. So it's all good. You killed it. You made a great bet. The process is on point. So you'll continue to find more. We're all in this together here. But these Rams are popping up everywhere on the 14.5. It makes me believe it's probably not as good as it looks. Alternate over in Pittsburgh. Kalshi, no big profit. We're seeing some crazy high percentages, which always makes me think that there's something wrong with like my calculation, to be honest with you, because we shouldn't be seeing massive alternate line edges here. But with that being said, like, let's go back to this up here because maybe you guys can help me reverse engineer this. Dividing to, again, Kalshi, or we don't have Kalshi for this alternate, to Bookmaker, to also Prime Sports and Novig, Prime, a sharper shop. But I think that there's something off here. I'm going to monitor these and track them like without actually betting them. I think that's the best way to go about it for now. I adjusted these calcs this morning and haven't really dove in like that hard to like, you know, make sure that they're 100% right, though I did make some adjustments this morning. So we shall see. But let's go back to the game by game and keep diving in. We started with the boring one with the Rams game where, again, potentials weather, Cooper freaking Rush. Of course, we're at half here. Let's see what we missed. I'm going to pull up the numbers here. Let's unpause. Maybe we can find a touchdown quickly, too, because we have a 30% boost at FanDuel. If you guys haven't used it, I have not used it. Though, how many more points are really going to be scored in this one? JK is showing value already at FanDuel plus the boost to Kalshi. We can see the contracts go live, 6.4K, 1,500 contracts to the over, 3,100 to the under with 30K liquidity for any time for Dobbins. So, though from a pricing perspective, it would be much better. Caesars just dropped there from 225 to 220. Interesting. Dobbins is, we got to be quick here. Of course, I'm not going to, I know I like to yap and sometimes can miss value because, of course, we're creating some content, but Evan Ingram, no. RJ Harvey, 480 best price, a lot more liquidity to the under there. So not in love. Flipping to the Jet side. Is there even a point? Is there even a point of the Jets? Justin Fields, honestly, garbage time Fields, 550, not a lot of liquidity to the under there. So maybe that the books are looking at there. I know he's not playing. I got to look at Brees just out of respect, I think, even though he doesn't score shit. But I don't know if the Jets score another point. I think it's Dobbins, honestly, all day with the boost. We're getting an RB1 with best price in market, 30% boost. I know the liquidity is kind of bad. My max bet's $10, so I'm taking Dobbins live. Let's confirm availability here. But I have the 30% boost, and there's definitely EV to that. I have it logged into my phone, 250. That's what we wanted. With the boost, brings us to 326. Well, better than market. I'm in. So I just bet live Dobbins anytime. I'm sure a lot of you guys used your boost beforehand, so sorry for the quick digression. But if you didn't, we definitely just took a great bet to market. Market average 195, and we just bet at 326. So obviously does not mean it's going to win, but we took a good bet, which is all you can do as a sports bettor. That is good EV, and now we just cross our fingers and hope it comes through. Beautiful. I'm in. Dobbins anytime. All right, let's keep going through games here. Seahawks Jags. Okay, this is a game where I said like I didn't really love anything. Like gun to head, though, I would be on the Seahawks, and the market has, I guess, technically agreed with me here. It's flipped. It's flipped. Seahawks were dogs all week. I think they became not dogs the other day. Let's do what we can do and pull up the PTO live odds, and we can see exactly where this flip happened. So let's go to just Jaguars here, or we can also do this, the average line, which shows both at the same time here, which is great. Relatively new feature. We're going to do, I want to do all time. Yeah, this will show you exactly what I want to show you, how the prices have fluctuated here. So today's the 12th, so it's October 8th, October 10th. Look at this. So the purple is Jacksonville, and we see how they're, favored. Boop and Seahawks flipped up. So that's definitely considering limits and whatnot. I don't think there's any big injury news, but Seattle getting the money. A lot of the talk with Jacksonville is that basically like how can the turnovers continue to be at such a high rate? And you have to also think as well, like of course they have a new head coach and they were like one of the worst teams in forcing turnovers last year, but we all know that turnovers, unless you're freaking Mike Tomlin and the voodoo in Pittsburgh, turnovers are a high variance, random thing, right? So you can definitely be of belief that the lack of turnovers for the Jaguars in the last couple of years, they've come back around. And like you can't say it's like, oh, it's like year to year, it's a new year, like new event. Like, don't get me wrong, all that is true. But with that being said, 16 or 17 games in the National Football League is still not a big enough sample size where you're getting like good enough data sets. So you have to kind of, add some factors like that from year to year, especially for like turnovers and like injury luck. Like those things are not sticky again, unless you're Mike Tomlin with the turnovers and the Niners with the injuries, unfortunately. I like Seattle. I missed the boat from pricing. This 104 at Novik, though, is looking pretty sexy. Let's pull that up because that might be what I'm just betting at this point. I think Seattle's actually just like too good. Not too good, but like are legit. The Jags, of course, off that big win Monday. Pro football. Oh, it's already in my bet slip. I knew I clicked it. 104 has 1,900 bucks of liquidity. 105 3K. Going back to the market quickly, that's still better than Penny, Bookmaker, Kalshi, and even Profit. So I would definitely, if you're interested, I'm betting this right now on my phone. I like Seattle. I'm going to take some liquidity off of this 104. 1,700 bucks. If you guys are interested, this is the place to bet it. If you guys don't have a Novig, use promo code BetSmart. You get a purchase match of $25. If you purchase $25 worth of Novig cash, you get another free 25 bucks just for signing up. So literally 100% match. I like Seattle because another thing that I think, and maybe this is an overthink, but the market is telling me honestly that it might not be, but essentially I just bet it. Essentially the Tyson Campbell trade, like they made a trade for a corner and now they got to get Newsome like situated. Like playing cornerback is one of the toughest positions to, I think, like really just make a change like that and still be good. And the way that Darnold's been balling out this year, especially against pressure, Jacksonville like doing well against the ground game. I think that it's like pretty sticky, honestly, where Darnold is just a good player. And I think that the changes on defense are going to actually be difficult for their cornering situation for this first week. Excuse me. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to, I think it's going to take a bit for that to come up. So I'm in on Seattle. I just bet them. I bet a bunch of stuff. I'll go through everything that I played so far. Of course, just happen to not be there just yet. But I want to look at some first touchdowns because I think this could be a fun like scoring game. So let's look at some FTDs and see if we can get some value. Already kind of liking Arroyo here. Honestly, he gets some good burn, though Barner also does as well. 1,800, 1462 at Kalshi. I wonder why I'm not seeing Circa. Let me pick like a chalkier player to see if Circa should be here, unless you're just not putting markets on this, unless I accidentally changed something here, which I did not mean to. No, I have Circa. Locked and loaded. For first tutties and for anytime tutties, Circa, of course, sharper book, and they only offer like a few of the players because they're, confident in that pricing. So that's something I like to see. And again, boys, if you can't see my screen too well, I'll zoom in a bit more if that makes it easier for you guys. But let's go back and look at some first HUDs. Last weekend, we went 2 for 3 on first touchdowns. So trying to replicate that with a plus 266 bang, as well as a plus like a 26-1 bang and a 12-1 with Lad McConkey. Circa still not showing for first, so maybe they're just not offering the players I'm looking at, or just this game, which is very possible. KW 850. Am I missing something with his injury stuff? I know he's been banged up. I haven't done a great job staying close. I'm going to go check out FTN quickly here. Let's see if there's some run share stuff to be aware of that I'm missing. I know Jacksonville's run defense has been like amazing this year. I could see some tired-ish legs, honestly. Let's just check at week 5 rushing. Okay, so Sharp straight up outsnapped him 31-23, but he did out attempt him. So Sharp had the 3 red zone, 1 goal line. Oh, that already moved. That was 850. Now it's 8-1. Damn, just like that moved. I'm not tripping, right? That moved right in front of our eyes. It did, literally 11:07, 11:09. Damn it. All right. Play Now Sports with the best price. This still is a good bet from a price perspective, honestly. Let's pull it up, man. That down still hasn't moved. I'm checking it out. Dobbins actually went up to 270. Damn. But it's all right. We boosted, so we still have EV. Hey, Walker 8-1. I'm keeping it in the slip because we already moved. If it gets hit again big time, but that's my first thought there. Absolutely. Let's check JSN. The Curiosity 9-1. Best price for JSN. I like that a lot more, honestly. JSN. Let's look at I didn't have my screen switched, my bad boys, but I want to look at FTN. I want to look at FTN now anyway, so I guess good timing. Go back to receiving. Red zone, end zone. This is all season. These are like directly in the end zone. Barner, Holt, and JSN. So JSN has not been like their red zone guy, which makes sense. They like to run the ball in the red zone. They also mixed around to AJ Barner, Torrey Horton, more of their play guy. But JSN, man, straight usage opportunities as well. Walker number 1, Sharps 2. But you got some rushing stuff. Go to some red zone. Excuse me. Walker and Sharp split 13-13. So you got to check some Walker stuff. But again, if we're under the thesis or the hypothesis that 850. So 850 now, Walker is cheaper than Sharp. But if we're under the hypothesis that the Jaguar secondary is going to be the problem here, it does make sense to target like a JSN. We can check like a Torrey Horton. I'm just curious as well. 22-1, 27-1 at FanDuel. I wish FanDuel having the best price is a little bit not ideal, but I kind of like that. I'm going back to receiving. I'm on FTN quickly here, and I'll read it out loud here. Targets per game. Of course, JSN, Kupp, Barner, Horton, only 2.8 on the season. End zone, again, he is 3 end zone targets, though. I think JSN probably deserves some red zone love. Could be a spot where they're like finally going to hook him up a bit. Overall usage, routes run, though, Horton, third in routes, 42.7% of the snaps. So still under like Horton and Barner, or excuse me, Arroyo and Barner. What's Cooper Kupp? I think he's kind of washed, honestly. But 19-1, 20-1 at FanDuel, excuse me, at ESPN. A lot of good options here. I'm going to circle back, honestly. Patriots, Saints. I bet some stuff here. I bet Juwan Johnson over, 32.5. Let's see if that's still there. Bet this a couple days ago, though, so I haven't honestly checked on how it's moved. Very interesting game overall. Of course, a lot of people on the Drake May hype train now. Receiving yards. Juwan Johnson, 38.5. All right, so I got a beautiful number here. 35.5, though, still solid here at MGM. His receptions also, I saw some good value on as well. Let's see what we're sitting at pricing wise now. 3.5, 135, 118 at bookmaker though. So nada. First tutties here. I think this game could be an over game, honestly. And like Jake, when we were on stream the other day, he was big on the first half over. Of course, we got some Patriots are going to be involved. Juwan Johnson, though, 15-1 at Circa, 16-1, 17-1 at MGM, 22 at 365, which is honestly a good bet. Absolutely. Pop Douglas, Travion Henderson. So I bet some Travion receptions. 2.5. 130 now, 125. And really not like as much value in the market, unfortunately. Um, it's just first Tutty. I'm not interested in betting any Travion first. I bet him first one time this year. Obviously did not cash. We know he has scored, but they're still like not loving him for whatever reason. 8-1, 850. We know Antonio Gibson's out for the year. What's Diggs? 11-1 circa. All right, if there was some value there, I was interested in Diggs from like a ball perspective. Hunter Henry, 11-1, 10-1. We're trying to get the best prices here, man. That's the name of the game. Olave, his under receptions have gotten smoked. That was like minus 110 on like Thursday. Now it's like minus 200 for receptions under for Olave. It was at Novig at least. Let's check the rest of the market here. No liquidity at 144. Yeah, it's down to 5.5. Realistically, some value at ESPN here, 115. Under 5.5. 365, of course, best price in market. We're under 6.5, though. Novig, we're not seeing liquidity, but we could pull up 16 contracts, 36 on the under, over at 1K. Magnifico, what's poppin', brother? Happy Sunday. Hope you made some money betting college. If you did yesterday, let's do it this week. Thanks for hopping in. Kamara, I saw some value on his rush attempts earlier today. I didn't bet it because I just missed out. It was low, man. It was like 10.5, but there was value at DK. Let's see if that's still available. Mayfield, 0.5 interceptions. What you think? So Mayfield, this is an interesting one because he 2 games ago was like so high in turnover worthy plays, and I'll pull up some of that data actually for you in just a second here. But then he threw like a perfect game essentially the start after. It's crazy freaking wind. I don't know if you guys heard that shit. I'm gonna pull up some data for you, but just give me 1 second here because yeah, this is 105 when I looked at it. 106 actually, excuse me. Yeah, I was up early grinding as always. NFL Sunday, how could you not be? But let's look at that price. I got you. Let's look at some Mayfield stuff because I want to pull up against some data as well. And we got to look at the market too, like throwing INTs. Let me go to passing and let me pull up FTN for you, brother. TB. So I want to look at his turnover worthy plays because that's where you got to be a little bit worthwhile here. Teams TB. Under 108 at bookmaker. So like from the market, man, like you're not really getting a ton of value, which is unfortunate. Baker's turnover worthy throws only 1.7%. And I'm going to go to all qualified QBs. I'll switch over to FTN in a brief second here. Where does that rank? I'm curious. Fields 0. That doesn't make any sense. Jaden Daniels only 1%, but Fields hasn't thrown any picks. But again, it's because he's not taking any like shots here. Baker is pretty low, 1.7%. So the 112 at Combi at Rivers here, I guess, but the best price is bookmaker. Like I could see it from just like a ball perspective, and I doubt that there's a ton of liquidity here. Yeah, they don't have it available. So like it's not going to be like a play where it's like positive EV market, like you bet it and you live with the results. The market's telling you it's a good bet. But from like a ball knowing perspective, I do think it is a good look. So hate to like be a vague-ish answer, but just being real with you. My personal thoughts, market impressionable, everything here. But let's go back to some stuff here. Brown Steelers. I think I've been coming around on this game. Basically, it's been like a big conversation about the Browns travel and, the way the Browns play the Steelers. Dylan Gabriel second start, Steelers off the bye, Tomlin off the bye. I think it's a Steelers spot, honestly. I bet some DK overs. Curious if that pricing is still sitting around here. I bet a DK over receiving yard prop. What's it at now? Oh, shit, I got hit hard. I got a 51.5. So, unfortunately, That value's gone circa at 56.5. I think because I don't think the big play stuff can last forever. And we know that Rodgers, he does get the ball out quick, though he's a statue in the pocket. It's a kind of like a mixed feelings on what Pittsburgh and like Rodgers can do, especially against the Browns defense, their pass rush. We know how electric that can be. Money line here, spread. We know this got up to 6.5. It's a tough one. The value's all gone. I want to do what I always do and look at if Prime Sportsbook has dropped their like pros versus Joes report. They have. Okay. Let's switch over screens here. Where the sharps in public are, Prime Sportsbook, Sharp Sportsbook. They're saying they have sharp action on the Bengals. The offense was 5.5. That got there earlier in this week. Ravens +8, which is we saw this go to 6. So we have seen the line move in these directions. Like Bengals are now 13.5. Dolphins are back to like the 3.5. Some places 4. Ravens are like 6.5, as we saw. Colts multiple numbers starting at 5. If you got in at Colts -5, shout out to you for being on top of the market or just being a pro. Also, I can get CMC at +18 for anytime touchdown, good EV, but is this a good spot for him? I think absolutely. The rush defense, as we know, for the Buccaneers has been like perennially very good, and like that's a situation where I feel good to talk about because you do have some relatively stagnant, consistent sample sizes. You know what Todd Bowles is as a coach. They have like Vita Vea and a lot of their like interior defensive core for a couple of years now, so they're one of the few teams with continuity that like you can feel like you could take some data over like pretty confidently from year to year. And I know that again that it's a good run defense, but if you're getting like a guy like CMC at that kind of price, and I'll pull up the market as well, I think it's a good spot. Like I would bet the +118. Biggest house needs Steelers to cover, Cardinals +7.5, Niners, Chiefs. Pros versus Joe. So they're telling me that the pros are betting the Browns, Steelers on the square side. Again, take this all with a grain of salt because it depends on what number and people get things wrong. But with that being said, I pull this up every week and has been relatively consistent. Ravens pros, Rams Joes. I have no action there. Bengals pros, Packers Joe. So the ugliest teams on the slate, realistically, besides the Jets, ugly ass Ravens, ugly ass Bengals, ugly ass Browns. Apparently are the pro sides according to Prime's action that they've taken, which I think is noteworthy. I devig from Prime for my game lines for whatever that's worth. And pros and Joes unite with the Titans, Bills, Bucks, and Colts. Okay. I mean, I have Colts -7, so I'm obviously rooted for some Colts. Have nothing in the other 3 games. I did like the Bills. They moved to 4.5. Haven't got there, but let's pull up some CMC stuff. I think Bengals can cover, but yeah, I mean, if you missed the 14.5, that's the kind of the problem there. Jets tacking on another field goal. Because obviously 14 being a key number in the National Football League, the 2 tutties, like 13.5. There are some 14.5s. This FanDuel 114, if you're interested. And for whatever you want to do with like this information from Prime, that's up to you. The pros apparently though got 15.5. If this ends 15, which is of course a bit obscure, some 2-point conversion nonsense, of course possible, but definitely worth potentially checking out. But I want to pull up for you the CMC stuff quickly. I want to bet some more first touchdowns and whatnot, and use the boost. There really aren't some that good of stuff there from the boost perspective this week. But player props, anytime, CMC. Where'd you get the 118, man? Where did you get the 118? If you could get 118 based on what the hell the market's at right now, that's a no freaking brainer. If you're looking at like just rushing or just receiving, that could be the difference. And like I never really dabble in those markets. Just could be some EV, realistically. I'm not going to sit here and say I know for a fact there isn't. Curious to see what that looks like. But if you have a 118, even with the boost, especially even whatever it is to get to a 118 based on a market average of 165, doesn't matter if you're just playing it's a rocket boost on Virgin Bet, dude. It's a bet. It's a bet. Like that's again like matchup or whatever. Obviously, like depending on your bankroll and what the how much your max bet is. Not available in the US probably. No, I haven't heard of Virgin Bet, which is fine. PTO absolutely has Virgin Bet. I've seen it pop up on the screen honestly before. I try to keep it out because I can't look at it, but I would assume it's there here. But yes, when it comes to that much EV, like I know, like we love to think in like ball knowledge, especially for football. Everyone has an opinion on the National Football League. Um, to 118 to a market average of 166. You bet that and kind of don't think twice, to be honest with you. Loses, like, of course, no one likes to lose a bet, but you took a good bet, and that's literally half the battle there. Let's do a little bit of checking here. So it's 10-9. Game looking destined for an under. 9 minutes left in the third. Needed Dobbins to do something here. I'm confused as to why. Oh, there we go for the rushing stuff. Defensive stuff. Here we go, offensive. I have not heard of Midnight Sportsbook, honestly, Mr. L. I'll take a look at the books that Pick the Odds has and see if they have it here. But I have not heard of Midnight. Definitely not a US book. Of course, there's a lot more countries with legality, and that's all great. But I personally have not heard of that. Some rushing stuff. RJ Harvey, 1 attempt for 2 yards. I have his under rushing receiving, so I'll have to check his receiving. So Midnight's on outlier. Oh, interesting. I again, like with being in New York, I add a couple of non-New York books just for like the content. Like I don't have 365 here, but I want you guys to be able to bet if you guys have it on stream. It's like with outlier, I only keep it to, again, like the big books per se, just to make sure most people can get it. But like for outlier and PTO streams, if people have a lot of other books, I'll gladly add them in to help you guys find some spots. But let's see. RJ Harvey, 3 receptions for 21 yards, so a bit sweaty there. Jets football, it looks like, and some Jets numbers here. Breece Hall, no receptions. Dude, this is terrible. Let's go to some rushing stuff. Fields, 21 yards. I have under 44 and a half. So some big sweats. I have check my phone quickly because I just know how to get there. I don't know if we got back to the top here. Yeah, we did. I took it's also some Troy Franklin under receptions as well. He's got 3, so 1 more reception. I lose. It was plus 105, so all in the game. But let's keep finding some stuff. Cowboys Panthers. Weather in Carolina, again, worth thinking about with the nor'easter on the East Coast, a bunch of rain, a bunch of wind expected to come. Bills minus 10, minus 3.5. That's a bet. That's a bet. I'll get to that in a second, but that's probably a bet just based on the market. I love Tat, man. Today, like I know it's like I'm sure everyone and their mother loves Tat today. Has not scored a touchdown. I hate that it's as low as 150, and you're really not getting any value. Even the 151, you are getting 1 cent of value compared to the average over Circa as well, Penny. But I think Tet finds the end zone, and also something I would like to look up at Tet. I'm not going to sit here and say it's like the sharpest thing to do in the world, but if you're like are using one of your boosts and you are parlaying some stuff here, like over 50 and or 49.5, so 50 plus receiving yards. If you want to get your lay to 10-1 and like, kind of play it that way, if you're doing it more for some fun stuff, I love Tet. This 209 at FanDuel for like adding to your slip, especially with like a boost. I think it's absolutely noteworthy there. So I did that, honestly. I took a 3-legger. Oh, 4-legger. I have Gibbs, Tet 50 plus, Ladd, touchdown. Of course, no QJ. And I'll pull it up. Where is it? Who's the 4th? And Romeo. I love Romeo. I missed his 190 on Wednesday. I talked about it all stream Wednesday, but didn't pull trig just yet. Dropped to 155. But I parlayed it just for fun today. So that's a Gibbs, Romeo, Tet 50 plus, Ladd, touchdown. Plus 1259. Did not use my boost. I still have it. We'll use it shortly. Just wanted to call that out. But let's go to that Bills game Monday because I think this is a fun game for an SGP. I think both games on Monday are. I'll be streaming, of course, tomorrow. So we'll be getting some boosts, I'm sure, and use those. And we'll focus more on like the games today. But let's go to this money line or the spread here for you. Because if 365 is 3.5, obviously 3 being a key number. Well, right now at Bookmaker, it's 114, Circa it's 112, Penny 111. Best price in market, 1.16%. I think it's going to move in your favor. I would bet this, honestly. You're seeing EV to the market as it is. A lot of liquidity at Kalshi, a lot of, 44K right now at Circa and 50K at Penny. Those are, of course, going to go up in the next 24 plus hours here. I like that. I do. From like a ball knower perspective and from a market perspective, checks both of those boxes. Though the first one, of course, being some bias, which you try to take out as best as you can. But we're all guilty of that, especially with efficient markets like football. Like, it is what it is. Sometimes, like, as long as you're not, betting above your means or anything like that, then it's really just irrelevant in the best way possible. Irrelevant in the sense where it's all fun and games. It's NFL football, and we're going to be taking action regardless. More likely than not. All right, let's keep rocking here. Some other stuff. So I think, again, the Chiefs Lions game. There's an SGP boost on FanDuel. I want to build that out right now. I think I see both schools of thought here. So first things first, I bet the Chiefs at 125 on Wednesday. Right now, looking like a good bet from the market perspective. Of course, we have time for that to change. I think this is a Chiefs all day. Hate to sound square, but the Lions' injuries on defense, I know. I think it was like, what was it, opening night like 2 years ago, maybe even 3 at this point, where like the Lions beat the Chiefs outright in that like game. The Lions did have some injuries. It was week 1, obviously much different scenarios, new OCs, new weapons for the Chiefs, et cetera, et cetera. But I think this is the Chiefs spot all day. But my more intriguing is the total, because I see both schools of thought, especially the one being where the Chiefs' run defense is so bad that if the Lions can just, get 5 to 6 yards a clip, which we know they're very capable of on the ground, and like the Chiefs do limit explosives, that this could be like a clock moving a lot kind of game. Chiefs coming off by far their best offensive performance of the season. Still no Rashee, but I think that this is an indicator of what the Chiefs' offense will be with Rashee Rice back. I think KC are still buys in the market. I do want to pull up some future stuff in a bit as well, because I'm interested. Does PTO have cut? Yeah, I know for a fact PTO is cut. I've seen it before. I would say with 98% because I've seen it. So I don't want to say 100 because like I haven't looked for it, but like I'm very close to positive I've seen cut. Again, like 98%. But under the impression this could be an over game, I think it's some fireworks. I think it's a potential to be, again, like similar to that Rams Chiefs game from a minute ago where there was an absolutely massive offensive outpouring. I think we could be in a spot like that. So some guys I like to score. I like Juju. Jake called this out on stream. Doesn't play all that much as like you'd want, but like from a 3-1 price, and again, the Lions' defensive injuries. I'll pull up some KC and Detroit numbers here on FTN as well, just to give us the full holistic picture here. Of course, we're going to use the market over everything overall, but with that being said, I like Juju. Let me go to receiving. I'll switch my screen over here. They qualified off. Overall targets with both teams lumped together here. Amon-Ra and Hollywood, Kelsey Laporta, Tyquan Gibbs, Juju. 67.4% of snaps. Let's go to route percentage here. 73.2% of routes. 66.7% opportunities, which is pretty solid. Again, Lions secondary. I might as well be out there tonight. Someone fly me to KC and give me a blue jersey. I'm in. I'm going to go back to base here. End zone. Of course, Amon-Ra Cook in there. Tyquan Thornton, low-key 7 end zone targets. I feel like that's sneaky. Definitely makes me want to look at his price, which we will do. But then we have Juju with 3 here. Obviously worthy. Just 3 games. Cook in there. Of course, Mr. Sun God, unsurprisingly. We'll look at Thornton quickly. But I still am looking Juju from a ball perspective, but price rules everything here. So we're going to see, here's the thing. It's 320, 325 at MGM. So I kind of like both, man. As crazy as that sounds. I don't think it does sound crazy. 52.4% cash percentage. I want to go back to usage here. What is Thornton's route percentage? It's like relatively high. 3073 for Juju, which is probably why his price is just slightly off. 64.2 for Taekwon. Just out of curiosity, targets per game. 5 for Taekwon, 4.2. So Juju playing more snaps, getting fewer targets. Interesting. And Taekwon being targeted highly in the red zone. Like, the thing is, with the way how this game could shape up, I wouldn't even be shocked about like betting both of them, honestly. 320 FanDuel. I mean, confirm DraftKings boost if they have an SGP boost for this game. I would assume they do. And we're gonna get to some first touchdowns. I know we have a good amount of time till kickoff. I'll be on for another hour or so, as we know. That 340 for downs is still there, which is annoying me. I wanted to see that drop already. I have a live boost for the Jets Broncos on DraftKings. I honestly missed that this morning, but yes, we have a 20% boost for DraftKings as well. So I think, again, this game could be a fireworks one. I'm gonna get a little bit crazy with the odds, to be honest with you guys. Price dependent, because I do think it's a higher scoring game. Pacheco, 265, showing some good EV. I know Pacheco's been dog, and Kareem Hunt steals all those targets here. Not seeing any pricing. That's unfortunate. I know it's not all books are going to have this. Let's see if FanDuel has it. Maybe just not for touchdowns. I know that was high earlier in the week. I looked at it. Don't know, remember exactly what. I think Gibbs to score. I hate to say this word, is free, because obviously nothing's free. Jets just get a safety. That went from 11 to. That went from 10. It was 10-9. Now it's 11-10. Let's hold on. Let's see what the hell happened in New York. Did the Jets just record a safety? I think they did. Let's pull up the play-by-play here. Best part about PTO, I don't got to be going back and forth between apps. Everything is right here. Safety. The New York Football Jets, man. People in London got to see some ugly, terrible football, but then they get to see a safety come in. 6-5. That's a confirmed safety from the New York Jets. Good for them. Maybe a Bo Nix game-winning drive we get to get. Broncos money line live. Let's look at prices, bro. They're still big favorites, man. So still no. I think obviously the Jets have the ball now. I think at this point, Steven betting the Jets money line live is still worth it here, because they're winning. They're about to get the football back. Obviously, expecting them to score and having a quarter and a third left is a lot of time. So I personally would not be laying a 150 no vig, 151 liquidity, a 188 at DK for a live currently. Personally, I think it's not worth it just yet. 210 at DK. Oh, that was quick, man. I almost was like, all right, let me bet that 30% boost on it. Of course, we know the Jets can turn it over at any second, but we're gonna have to check back in here in a bit. Back to some odd screen stuff. So I'm gonna build out an SGP. I already have a Gibbs tutty and something, but I think Gibbs is like so live to score today. I want to build these now. I don't think Goff is going to turn into a pumpkin again. I really don't. I was on that wavelength. Hasn't happened. If Jets score, sprinkling Broncos makes a lot more sense. Don't get me wrong. This was actually another conversation they had on Circle Back the other day. They were talking about, I think it was one of those prediction market Twitter accounts was tweeting about how their thesis was to just post flop, bet a big favorite if the other team scores right away. But like, the books are already pricing that in, and you're not getting the same discount. You actually still have value sometimes on the team that is winning by a good margin, or live with that same hypothesis. Hence why I'm like intrigued by the Jets. Honestly, at that price. But back to this bad boy here. Player props. So I'm intrigued by Juju and by Taekwon. It's going to build some stuff out. I'm going to build them pre-boost on FanDuel DraftKings, and then I'll bet that on my phone and show you the odds there. But it's passing TDs 1.5, 130, 127. Could be an interesting leg there. It's Mahomes. We know the defensive injuries. Yeah, it's already getting chalk there. 3+ though. 210, 365 looks nice. 190 at circa. 194 FanDuel plus a boost. That's honestly intriguing. I'm going to add that to a slip here. But then again, we're going to have negative correlation if we do go with like a Thor or Juju, which again, I'm intrigued by. But let's do this then. We definitely want to do some yardage stuff as well. Like what's Amon-Ra sitting at right now? ASB 74.5. Okay. What's Gibbs receptions? Chiefs have been not doing so hot against running backs out of the backfield, especially from a. They've been doing a good job in certain situations, like making tackles behind lines of scrimmage and whatnot, but they have been letting up receptions. But the books, of course, know this, and the pricing is no bueno at 3.5. 4.5 is a lot, and I'm not a ton of value realistically. 143 to 132 market, though. But we are again talking about a boost within my situation, low limits. The Broncos already have the football back. I mean, again, like I'm not losing sleep over not laying a 180, especially when the market like wasn't saying that there was like a ton of value there. So you know, I stand on the advice I gave to like wait a second there. Honestly, at this point, maybe there's some good spread stuff, but I want to build this out. Don't think there's a need to bet any like alternates that low. I'm trying to go for some like big plus chicken here because I think we could be in like a over alt situation rather than a under alt situation with this Chiefs game. And I could be dead wrong. Like for example, I already bet David Montgomery under rush yards. I'll pull up the pricing that I got at. Just picking off some MGM nonsense on a P2. I bet it at, where is it? 47.5, and it's 41.5, 42.5, 41.5 at circa. Yeah, that's a good bet there. At this point, it's way too low. So I'm living with my line value. Not going to try to middle that low of a number. Broncos have the football back on their own 18. It's so easy, man. Justin Fields stinks. All right, love talking here on my part. Let's get cooking here. I could see them going to Monty at the goal line, but like I don't. I really think it's a Gibbs turn up. Alternate reception. So let's build this out here. I think it's you're playing the best. You gotta give it to your best player. This 430 Gibbs 2+ honestly is sexy. I hate how sometimes they have the deep link, sometimes they don't for the same markets. I'm just trying to get the FanDuel in any way, shape, or form. We can go Gibbs rack yards depending on how high it is over receptions. But I want to go some alts. Let's look at some alt pricing. They're not giving alts. Oh, there they are. 192 DK for 40+. What I missed, Biz? What's popping, brother? Didn't miss a ton like from this week. I know you've been on stream, so we haven't bet that much more than what we've already bet on stream. What we bet today only so far to add has been Seattle money line and Josh Downs tutty 340 at DraftKings, and we're still there. But we're in the part of stream now where we're like finalizing our first tutties and our bets. But shout out to you, Biz. Thanks for hopping in. But we're trying to build some stuff for the SGP boosts on FanDuel for tonight's game and DraftKings because I am under the impression, which again I could be wrong, of course, but I think we are in for a higher scoring affair. I really do. Um, so with that in mind, I'm trying to build out some stuff. Um, like going back to some FTN data for targets a game, of course, Gibbs 4.6, yards per game. This is all receiving. Gibbs 22.4. So it would have to be like a kind of an outlier game, but we know he's capable of that. I don't know if I love JMO down the field deep. I like Thornton. I like Juju, but let's do this here. A big alt on Gibbs. Juju Smith-Schuster. Let's see pricing. 300 at both of these. Still a good price, honestly. Let's add that to this bad boy here. Because we have a 30% boost. So this in itself is 10-1. Gibbs 40 plus Juju anytime. And then let me see one more thing here. Who was I looking for? Anytime TD. And again, like I think that we're in a high scoring game, hence why I feel comfortable with some of these like touchdowns in a parlay. Obviously, negative EV, like generally speaking. Let's Hunt. 155 at DK. So we're getting the best in the market there. I would want to look at Pacheco, but I think we could save that for the other one. What does this get us to here? We didn't add it. Do it manually real quick. We add Hunt. I was lagging. All right, I'm back. Hunt 155, 30-1. Hunt Juju Gibbs 40 plus receiving. With the boost, building out my phone quickly, and that's going to be sexy. And again, like I think we're in for points, man. I think we're in for points. I already have Gibbs in LA. I can definitely think that Gibbs 2+ is more than viable. Gibbs, Hunt, Juju, receiving props, Gibbs 40 plus. With the 20% boost, that's plus 3,600. My max bet is 15, actually. They're giving me 15 because I lowered that. I bet it. I'm in. Plus 3,600, Kareem Hunt anytime, Gibbs 40 plus, receiving yards, Juju anytime. Beautiful. All right, that's the DraftKings boost. That is the DK boost for tonight's game. Writing it down. Good to go. Beautiful. Back to PTO and let's keep cooking. So I do want to bet some firsts. Just got the ball back again. Now it could be a Broncos time, Magnifico. Let's see. What do you think of Tyler Warren today? Great question. Let's get to that game in a brief second. Still bad pricing. Oh, Denver got the ball back again. They just throw a pick. What the hell just happened? Because they just went to 345. I'm not watching the game at all. And this would be faster than any stream I had. What the hell? Did they throw a pick? Or a fumble? Video review I'm seeing now. Garrett Wilson, 4-yard catch, 3-yard catch, in progress video review. So I'm guessing catch, fumble, potentially, or maybe a pick. Either way, potential Jets turnover. Let's go to that game, brother. Let's talk about some Tyler Warren stuff. I think Tyler Warren is a dog, so I'm always interested in Tyler Warren stuff. But I don't know if the market is properly pricing. First TD, Jonathan Taylor. Let's go to Warren first tutty. I have Colts -7. Excuse me. Yes, I do have Colts -7. Warren first, 9-1. Not massive. We have the Brissett revenge game. You know, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jacoby Brissett revenge game for obvious reasons. You know, we gotta be talking revenge games always. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see some of his stuff. So the receptions. Went 4.5. Like, it's up there, man, from a pricing perspective. Let's go to rec yards. and I'll pull up some FTN numbers as well. We know his usage is good. I'll switch my screen in a second here. Where are they? End. All weeks targets. Warren, number 2. 86% route percentage. He's getting a price at 125 at FanDuel for 50 plus, averaging 61.4 yards a game there. Cardinals defense, we know, has not been playing so great. Also on the road, also Brissett, some big stuff. I like Warren. I'm confident in Warren. Let's look at some anytime for him. I have curiosity. Incomplete, so in the Jets game, 160, 170. The 170 is decent at FanDuel, though I do like to deviate from FanDuel for touchdowns sometimes, so not in love. But we have a massive sweat here. Just keep the football. Reviewed, catch, reversed. So I guess no fumble. So we'll see this money line drop back to earth. I went to 345. Now we're back to 188. So that was a pretty crazy pricing change there. Obviously, new information hitting the market there and some crazy stuff going on. So not really too surprising. Let's see. Patriots, Saints, Browns, Steelers, Chargers, Fins. This game, the under seems to be getting some love, and I understand why. Obviously, no QJ. Dolphins D has been abysmal, but circa 110, 102, 44 being a key number. Jonathan Cooper, 7-yard sack. 6 times Fields is sacked. Unsurprising, going to the fourth quarter there. Let's get a Dobbins touchdown to close that out, man. I mean, the plus 102, if you're betting it, you have to. Or the 103 a profit, actually. How much liquidity? $105 though. Where Novig only 130. So I guess either way, not really too attractive. But I love Lad today. I love Lad today. I want to check his first as well. I know like prices might be shot with Keenan, with Lad, Quentin not playing, but I still think it's a Lad game. I think he's getting so undervalued still. 9-1. I wish this was like a little bit better. If you have 888 Sport plus 1100, that's a good look. But I bet Lad anytime. I don't think it's a great number, honestly, but like this is like a ball nowhere play. I got it at 145, I went to 155, so I actually did lose some value there. 160 to circa. Excuse me. But I do like Lad a lot, but Keenan might be getting mispriced now. No, he's not. Okay. I saw reports that Hassan Haskins is going to be a lead back, but I feel like that could be like nonsense, honestly. 160, though, that's really not that great to Kalshi and Penny. Just because I feel like you never know. I started him in a fantasy league for whatever that's worth, and like unfortunately my team is so injured and buys are screwing me over. Vidal, 190. So they're not pricing either of them in the spot, especially with this total that you're interested in. But somebody who I am interested in based on the pricing, because I know it's moved a bit. This 105 at ESPN, Devon Achane. Love. Market average of 124, 115 at circa, 111, 121 Kalshi. I love Achane. I think whenever you get a guy like Achane in the minus 105 range, of course, better. It's interesting. He is their guy, man. He's so damn good. I love this. I love that Achane. We have a boost at FanDuel, 30% boost. It's 130 though at FanDuel, but I would bet that straight. Let's go back to the EV and let's run through some EV stuff. We're gonna get our first tutties in as we always do, and again, boosts aren't that abundant this week, so we're sticking to the script here. Big time. But let's go back to some EV stuff. Let's see some game lines. Let's see how things have moved. Again, we're seeing like such high percentages. So like in those situations, I tend to believe that I'm the one who botched um, with my EV calcs. Yeah, like 43.6%. It's only 2 books. It's an alternate number as well, but I don't have enough width. I would want to add some. Oh, this is live at Kalshi, 36.5, 2 point, excuse me, at Combi Rivers. So yeah, I need to rework this. I think the lower we get, the more confident I'd be in terms of EE percentage, as weird as that sounds, just because we're seeing some crazy high numbers, and odds are that's user error, to be honest with you. So I want to scroll like a little bit deeper here as we see like a bunch of stuff, but um like this, for example, let's see what the odds are. 150, 175 a Unibet. Yeah, no, this isn't good enough, honestly. I'm gonna go with some lower just because that's gotta be user error, honestly. But this potentially 180. Let's see. It's already moved. This is like live, like happening as we speak. So this is like gotta be on the click. I'm on pause just for things to not move here. But like here, now we're 11%, which is still high, but we have the 4 books, a Saints alt line, 251, though ESPN's better with 260. But Bookmaker, again, yeah, there's a user error here. I gotta fix these up before I get confident. I did make some changes today, but I think I probably changed them incorrectly, honestly. Sorry about that, boys. Like I'd rather talk some game and fix it all right this second on stream. Could get a little boring, and we're an hour to game time here. But I gotta clean up my EV calcs for game lines there. Whatever I did this morning, I probably broke it a little bit because I was not seeing those massive edges last week. But Trey Harris popping up here, 6-1. Kalshi's big time down, but that's no QJ. This is a no-brainer, I think. Hold your horses. Definitely expected more playing time. Dolphins D is soup, and I think they like Trey Harris's profile. I'm betting that right now. I'm betting that right now. Damn, Dom is up to 8.5. I'm betting that right now. I already bet some Labit in a lay. I'm betting that Trey Harris. I think that's going to move shortly. Obviously, Haskins of $1 in the mix. 3.5 on the spread is coming back down. I was very confident in Chargers, and the market's kind of telling me to screw off a bit. Of course, that hook is still there, and it's a key number. We'll see what happens. We'll lose a bet. I've done it before. We'll do it again. But I just bet the Trey Harris. I locked in 6-1. I'm in $16.67, 39.4%. A bit high, but it is clearly the best price in market here. BVIG 2, Kalshi. Well, I mean, it's definitely going to come down from an EV perspective once I hit the play button because Kalshi actually moved. But let me do this quickly. I still think it's a good bet, though. What's going on here? Let's see. I want to see what it went to. Oh, it's like totally off the EV now with that move. All right, so I still bet it, and I'm not really upset about it, honestly. But Kalshi's number was off, and that was making it a problem. Gino anytime 12-1. See, now I gotta like double check here because if Kalshi just is like off, but it's not there. This makes more sense. I'm not betting the Gino though. Anytime. I think Genty can run rampant today. I'm pausing. Actually, I'm not going to pause this time. Things are moving. It's for good reason. Tet under at profit. I understand why. It's kind of a little bit too high. This is still available if you're 365, which I am not, unfortunately. I'm betting this. Absolutely. Shakir under. That's for tomorrow. Jacoby's still sitting at the same pricing there. Cooper Rush over. If the sharps are actually on Baltimore, like we saw from Prime Sports, which again is like debatable, and this doesn't actually 100% correlate, but at 265, this is definitely a bet as well. If you got 365, Muth under 1.5, Hey under 4.5. Let's check this Muth quickly though. 134, 106. Market average 111. Stake actually best price. This could be worth it here. Let's pull it up. Yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. 4.8% EV, plus 111 to the market. Best price outside of stake. Yeah. 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 Yes, I'm in. I'm in. I'm in. I am betting that move under. Add to the card. I'm gonna pause just because I don't like when it moves when we're doing some content. But and 4.8%, good bet. Caleb rush attempts. That's for tomorrow. 4.3. Minus 105. MGM. This is also a bet. The Profit Sport Trade. Novig Penny. Lower limits. Kami's defense, though, gets after the passer, and the Bears O-line is banged up. I don't know. Maybe it's Narrative Street. Caleb from the DMV, they're going to try to, use his legs more post to buy, potentially. See all those stats, Jaden Daniels, and those amazing rushing numbers. But from a pure EV, this is absolutely a bet. Let's confirm its availability here. But really from EV, this is a spot that is absolutely worth taking a look at here. Absolutely worth looking at. This is a bet. Definitely a bet. Definitely a bet. Caleb, over 5.5 rush attempts. Back to PTO. 4.3% EV. Boom. Another one we found. That's for tomorrow. We're streaming tomorrow, of course. Don't get me wrong. So nothing wrong with betting for tomorrow. We do it all the time. Probably the move, realistically. That's a good one. Kendrick Bourne under. I don't know. I get it from a market perspective, but I think the market could be off here. Honestly, I like that 130 at 365 for the over. I gotta rewind, take your rating. Good show. Yo, I appreciate you, Aaron. Thank you. I think this waiting's great, and I think you commented on some of the YouTube stuff. I think I replied. If I didn't reply, let me know right now, and I'll make sure I get to you on the comments there. Also, if you go on X at GoBetSmart, feel free to DM me if that's easier. I think I saw you commenting. And if I didn't get back to you, I apologize. I will, and if I think I did though, but you can let me know. Washington, who the hell is that? Lack of ball knowledge there. Puka, we had some 3% here, but definitely understandable. Tootin under for today, 112, 17.5. I gotta change that percentage here. Rushing yards is messed up. 3.2s. Getting to the lowers, trying to find some other stuff here. Jalen Waddle under. Kalshi and Novig. Not enough market width, honestly, at that price. Ooh, Elijah Arroyo. Only 2.7%. That move, though, as we see already. Hard Rock, though, if you're a Hard Rock guy, that's there and available. Rattler anytime. Denovig and Kalshi. 750, 650. It's not. Oh, I wish I had 365 and they didn't limit you. That'd be sick. Let's go back to the odds screen traditionally. We'll wrap up this next half hour with some first tutties and some other fun stuff. Weather, at least in New York, getting worse. There's no football games in New York today. So it's like Broncos are going to get it back. Are they going to go for it here? Anytime, brother. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Okay, now we're getting in potential still Jets territory to bet. even though they're giving the ball back. They just punted back to Denver. Them getting a stop is probably egregious here. I have some sweats, so I'm just gonna do a quick check, see where I'm at here. I bet all these things and talked about them on stream the other day, so hopefully you guys were there and got in. Rushing. Where's rushing? I have Fields under 44.5, so we're getting close here. That's scary, and we know the Jets are probably gonna get the ball back one time, and you know that running back's gonna do a QB RB1 does, and that's run the football. Broncos, I have RJ Harvey under rushing receiving. He only has 2 rushing yards, and he has 21 receiving. I was under I got a great number, not to toot my own horn, just the facts of the matter. And I gave this out on stream yesterday. 51.5. I think it closed well below that. Still a sweat though. Still a sweat. They got the ball. And I have Franklin under receptions, but that's also a sweat. Broncos ball right now. He gets one more. I'm cooked. That was plus 115. So a 2-1 would be ideal. 3-0 would obviously be great, but and if Dobbins can somehow score on this drive, we bet him earlier. Though of course that number has ballooned, but we had some EV, so we live and die by it. All right. Let's find some first HUDs for the ones. We've went through kind of everything holistically. We've found some EV. We found some good spots. Now we'll lock in some fun stuff. Player props, first TD. We were looking at JSN, Kenny, and Sharp. I think it's JSN if the price still holds this 9-1. It's still there. I'm betting this. Oh, look at that, boys. We sniped. Clap it the fuck up, boys. We sniped. We just bet that at 134 at 12. It is 12:05. It's at 106. It loses, but boys, shout out to PTO for our filters to find that. Awesome. PTO if you want to try, by the way. Link in the description on YouTube and under the tweet on Twitter. I have a link there. You can try it for absolutely free. Look at that. Look at that value. 134, 106. Job done as betters. Jonnu Smith or Freiermuth with rec yards. Well, considering we just bet Freiermuth under 1.5 receptions, and the market agreed as it moved to minus 106. We bet at 134. I have to say Smith if you're going for overs. Of course, I'm assuming overs. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Biz, but at that point, I have to go Smith. Jake on stream Wednesday loved Jonnu. It was one of his favorite touchdowns, and I'm on DK here, so we'll just check the pricing. But considering what we just did with Muth and the way the market moved, of course, that could all be wrong, and he could have 10 catches for 250. Everything's possible, but I'm hard pressed now to believe that the market believes Muth. It's a Muth game, meaning it would probably be a Smith game. So Smith 425. That's really high. I'm going to quickly go back to PTO and look at the rest of the market there. That seems high. But the market's going to, of course, tell us what's right and what's wrong there. But yeah, brother, I gotta say, if you're going for rec yards, and at this point now, it's got to be Smith. I took a terrible bet. I'll pull it up in a second. The market was off, and I bet it. Yeah, that 425 at DraftKings is value. Accidental, man. Biz, shout out to Biz for putting Jonnu Smith on the brain, because this is a bet. This is a bet. Jonnu Smith 425. That is a bet. Muth might have one catch and it might be a touchdown. He might have, again, 10 catches for 100 yards or whatever the hell. But that has value. And this is a bet. I'm locking it in as we speak, boys. Shout out to us on that Muth. Let's see if this moves, but we just found another beauty. Just found another beauty. Let me get there quickly. Broncos football, 10 minutes left. If that moves on me, I'll be pissed. Jonnu. Oh, we have a TD score 33% boost. Let's keep looking. I'm getting confused. All these boosts here, boosts that, but let me see. This could be a parlay, I would assume. Could also be a first touchdown, $5. But it says live. I don't understand because it just let me bet that. Am I tripping? I also have a 4 leg 10%, but that's 4 leg 10%. I hate that. It was letting me bet that. I don't know. Hold on. I gotta check if I'm tripping here. 'Cause it says in the promo it's live only, but I put John in my slip and it's giving me the boost. So maybe it's not live. Okay, we could have used it on Johnny right there. Because we're still getting 1.09%, like you could maximize it, the EV, and use the boost, but I think we're gonna find some more. And I might use it on the first as well. But what is his first then? 18 to 15. I mean, actually, that might be it right there, man. It's a double Johnu day. The boost, the 23.94, well above market. I bet Johnu. Okay. Biz, if John doesn't come through, we're holding you at the stake. Nah, I'm just playing. Numbers are the numbers here. I just bet Johnu first tutty. My max was 5 bones. Johnu first, 23.94. We hit with Theo last week. We have Johnu anytime. That's our first tutty of the day. Johnu Smith, 23.94. Bro, I mean, it was a perfect storm of events. Like, we find a Muth under 134. Market immediately reacts after we hit that. Find a great price. Then we check some Johnu stuff. Still mispriced. Touchdown has EV. First touchdown with the boost has EV. Without boost has EV. Then with the boost massive EV. So Biz got us on the right direction there, at least from a price and value perspective, which is all you can do, is make good bets. And then whatever happens, you cannot control. But you can control the quality of the bets you make at the time. And the fact of the matter is, we just made some good ones. All right. Broncos already in Jets territory. Looking at John and Pat, an outlier was decided. Yeah, no, from like the straight data, because I'll pull up FTN here quickly here for you and look at some of the numbers here for like their usage, because I am curious. But then again, when there's situations where the market is like clearly showing value, like it just did, then honestly, some of that other stuff just flies out the window. Realistically, the market is what it's going to be, but some like some snap stuff. John at 53.2%, Muth at 46.8. So like he's not on the field. Routes not that back in terms of routes run, and from a target percentage perception, it's really not far off whatsoever. So I understand the like general like conundrum of like who, but with that being said, the end game changer, and I talked about this in one of my YouTube videos, would be the pricing. Like it's like basically all things are relatively equal, but then you're getting a better price compared to the market is telling you it's a better bet. Again, does not mean it will win. Anything can happen, but that's the name of the game that we're playing, is to utilize the market if you're not originating, of course, which is a whole nother ball game. Just talked about actually my newsletter this past week. So definitely recommend, entirely free, every Friday. Spit some game on the newsletter, some betting advice, general concepts, try to help you guys become better bettors, keep it really short as well. Just high level concepts. So check out the newsletter. There's our first touchdown. We're on Johnu. In a very ugly potential game as well, with some weather and some shitty offenses and relatively good defenses. So that's we're Johnny Smith fans anytime and first. Checking something quick. And Jake called it out. I mean, Jake was all over John on Wednesday. I was all over Romeo, which is in LA. But other games for first, I really like a Chargers receiver to go first here. I just gotta find, again, like pricing. Like Keenan dropped, but it's still best price. It's this 950 at MGM is actually interesting. I'll pull that up on the side here. Quickly look at LAD and see. Because MGM also, if you have, able to bet there, they have the second chance bonus where if they score the second tutty, so you're getting best odds plus second touchy. And my bad for not switching screens here. LAD at 9-1 at FanDuel. It's probably chalked, unfortunately. Hassan 8-1. What's Vidal in case they say screw whatever we said out loud? Where Vidals are back. 11-1, same price at, Circa. So not really necessarily worth it there. Lambert Smith, 60 to 1. Obviously a Dolphin could score first. Like, what's Achane at this point? So when we somehow got like a discount on Achane per se. Unfortunately, not in the cards. And I'm going to check back in on Dolphins Jets because we do have another boost. Excuse me, Dolphins Jets, Broncos Jets, Broncos Indy red zone, Pat Bryant rush, Mims with a big catch. I'm sweating a bunch of props in this one. So if we get a Dobbins score right now, boys, we bet that live. As you guys know, if you were here, if you guys hopped in late, at this point, we got a shitty price compared to how the game has moved. But at the time in the market, we got a great price with the boost there. 3rd and 9 from the 9. So 3rd and goal. Don't sell it for 3, man, because the Jets are coming. 4th and 9 now. That was on 3rd and 9 incomplete. Maybe we could snag a quick money line on DraftKings. We got to be quick, though. It's just not a great price. Like, what the hell's 1x bet? 195. We have a boost as well. I'm pulling up DK quickly. We're getting a team that's about to be down 2. Like, you have to rely on a Justin Fields game-winning drive, but it is off market. They just kicked the field goal, so it's at 210. 210. I'm betting on Justin Fields game-winning drive. 33% live boost. My max bet is $5. 279 best in market by a margin. Fanatics at 5 to 1. If you have Fanatics, like, and you're quick, I don't care that's Justin Fields. Like, this is a good bet. 5 to 1. Like, it's a great bet from a pricing perspective. Like, I'm cool with it at 279, but like Fanatics, like, that's a no-brainer. This is moving to 200. Let's watch how this moves a bit. If Fanatics 5 to 1, things are coming in, but no, Justin Fields game-winning drive loading. I never thought I would say that. FanDuel just became better priced than DK, but again, there's a 33% boost for live on DK. We did not get our Dobbins tutty. Jets ball 5:15, down 3. That just dropped. I can't believe that the Jets. I have money on Justin Fields to lead the game-winning drive right now. Again, it's only $5 with my max boost, so not sweating that much. So losing sleep. Look at some contracts here at Kalshi. Still people laying Denver. People laying Denver. Is that people taking Denver? People taking Denver. That Fanatics went to 190. So if you guys were able to get that 500, I don't know again how available Fanatics is, but man, oh shit, what happened? This is so much fun. Watching the live odds move. Field location pending. Kickoff. Okay. This went to 220, but still with the boost, I'm not too mad about that. Odds are just moving crazy on this one. Let's go finish our first tutties. Of course, we're getting close to game time. And I already bet it. If you guys tail, then at this point, it's forever hold our peace. Saints, Patriots. I'm kind of intrigued by that Rattler tutty. We saw some EV on earlier. He hasn't done it just yet, but he does run. It's not like he doesn't. Not to be narrative street too much, but there has to be some form of the Jets can run their regular offense, man. They're only down 2. Start with the Brees run. That's be some motivation to be like, fuck you, Drake May from Rattler, right? Bet Lee 9 to 1. So I would definitely bet that if you have a Bet Lee. I'm guessing that might be Canada. For Rattler, check it first, just out of curiosity as well. 35 to 1 here, 40 to 1 at MGM. I mean, excuse me, 365 is a good bet. Jets can't move the football, which is like unsurprising. Fields incomplete pass right in this game. That's a loss of $5. And if you include the Dobbins, which of course you do, but again, not losing sleep over either of those. Bet the Diggs here, 11 to 1. Pricing 12 to 1 ESPN is interesting. Hunter Henry, 14 to 1 ESPN. This is a good bet for our first touchdown on Hunter Henry. We love our tight ends lately. Sermondre, going through everybody here. And on the flip side here, AK, 9 to 1, same price as Circa though. Taysom. In. 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 My Keenan's still on my brain here. It didn't load automatically here. Sack. What the hell happened? Another sack? Bonito. DPOY. Jets already punting. All right. Got too horny on the Jets. Screw them. DPOY Bonito. What a freaking animal, man. Also train of thought. Taysom Hill. With the second chance. 15-1. I thought that was higher. That locked. No, it's still there. 15-1. Circa 11-1. I know it's still like a little OD with Taysom Hill and like what are you going to get from Taysom Hill? But no, I'm in. I'm beyond in. Second chance promo as well, which is good. I know it. A lot of people are limited MGM unless you're P2ing. Which of course, if you got to do what you got to do, and out here, I'm in for Taysom Hill. If Dobbins can break one and score for us, if Troy Franklin though or Archer Harvey go over their totals for me, I'll be pissed. All in the game, of course, but Jets have 2 timeouts. It looks like. All right, so first tutties we have Jonnu and Taysom. See what else we find from a good value perspective. Devontae anytime. Good Q. Let's find out. Let's look at the market. I saw some good value on his unders today, on under receptions. We know that the connection has not been there, but he is getting targeted at a high rate, which does lead me to believe that it will come around for Devontae. Like market perspective, the 125 at ESPN is pretty solid. If you're looking at something from like a matchups perspective that's making you really love Devontae, if you can get this 125 at ESPN, I think it's worth the sprinkle. If you can't, unfortunately, I would say it's not worth it if you can only bet the 110 because circa at the penny, it's not good. Like very small EV here, 0.97%. So for like the fun aspect, you're getting after it. You see something that you think the market might not be pricing in, then like I think you're good for it at the 125, but at a different number. Unfortunately, hate to be the boring guy here, but can't say it's like love that. Marvin Mims minus 2-yard rush. I'm assuming Jets will call TO again. Yes, sir. So 3rd and 9, potentially for the game almost. Of course, they have the 2-minute warning and whatnot. Bucks Niners. Big Buka. What a freaking dog. Shout to the Buckeyes. Kendrick Bourne. So the thing is about this game, right? Like Mac Jones. Let's go back to the spread here, honestly. Mac Jones is obviously banged up still. Yes, he has a little bit of extra rest, but like if he gets hit by like Vita Vea or Levante David like one time, he might not make it through that game. And like hate to like say it like that because one, never wants to see anybody get hurt. But two, obviously that's like a lot of speculation there, but I think it's worth at least considering like the re-injury risk being higher than normal. And Bo Nix takes a sack, which I guess realistically is better than having the clock stop. So if you're trying to find any positive in taking a 6-yard sack on 3rd down in a game where you need a 1st down drive to potentially win it, I guess that's the consolation prize there as they're punting the ball back to Justin Fields. And what's unfortunately going to happen right now is Justin Fields is going to go over his rushing line where I got like 5 yards of CLV. Whatever, man. All in the game. Made a good bet. It'll be a fun sweat here. And now our Jets money line is alive again, though got shitty pricing. But again, somehow, some way relying on a Mac Jones tutty. I'm on my other computer trying to place a bet, and it's just not loading. I'm trying to bet the Taysom, but now it's loading. And now I'm in. So officially on Taysom. Sorry for the delay there. But I'm in. Beautiful. Let's look at the spread here. Let's get to 2.5, 3.5. It did. It basically did. Interesting. I mean, again, from Prime Sports saying it was expected to. Let me go back to that tweet. I'm a little bit mad I missed a 2.5 because I really did like it. BetMGM trading, don't give a shit about what BetMGM traders are saying. If you guys do care normally, I would say stop caring about MGM traders and their thoughts on Twitter. It makes for good content. People love the content, don't get me wrong. But in terms of Brees Hall fumble possession rate, the Jets. Again, I'm not a Jets fan or anything, and I actually root for their downfall. Also raining now in New York pretty decently. Though there's no games in New York, but I think it's the whole East Coast situation. So just putting that out there for anybody who's not on East Coast and isn't monitoring weather. 2-minute warning now. Jets ball at the 50. So we got a 7-yard run that he fumbled. This Jets ML is live. It's live. It is live. Colts, Cardinals, Titans, Raiders. Okay, I got to look at Titans, Raiders. I want to bet a first tutty in this one. Who I am definitely eyeing Io Manor, but price will rule everything. 20-1 here. Looks good. What is... No, I meant to click Okongwu. What's Chig? 35-1. Please and thank you. Going to do a quick numbers check. Let's go over to FTN briefly. Because if I'm not mistaken, Chig was getting a good target share. I know early because I was like such in a bad fantasy situation where I had some Chig share. But I know obviously fucking, excuse my language, they suck. No, 4.8. 67% of snaps, 72% route rate. End zone, no end zone, but you know he's a big dog, man. He's a big freaking guy. I think that this number is a bit ridiculous. Jets money line live, as you just saw right there, boys, was down to even money. Obviously, we're betting on the Jets now to somehow win a football game, though they only need 3, so can't really think of that too intensely. But I'm absolutely betting this Chig first. Pulling it up right now on my phone. I'm in on Chig. First tutty. First touchdown, Chig Okonkwo. Boom. I'm in on Chig Okonkwo, first touchdown. It's going to take a lot, man. We know how bad the Titans are. We know that they can't do anything correctly and score points ever. And their coach is a joke and one of the worst coaches in NFL history, if not the worst. Definitely up there, absolutely. The Raiders, of course, could get out to a nice start, though. Geno has been horrible. I think the Titans defense is not that bad. And again, we're really talking pricing being the king ruler here. 35-1, I'm very interested in. So I bet it. Chig Okonkwo. Let's sweat this Jets game a bit. I have it up on the Real app of my phone, as well as, of course, you can do PTO here. Still 2-minute warning. I'm seeing the Jets we got a good number, man. We got a good number. That's half the battle here. And they're running it to Brees, man. All right. Get some yards, brother. I'll be basically live commentating for the rest of this one. I'm sure I'm probably with my stream delay. You guys are probably seeing it just at the same time I'm seeing. If not, I'm delayed realistically for you. But Funga with the tackle in progress. Let's go, Jets. Let's go back to the odds screen and find our final first touchdowns, if there are any to find. I'll read through quickly now everything that I've bet so far today. So I'll go from stream back. Just accidentally opened up Microsoft Word. All right, Chig, first tutty, plus 3,500. Taysom Hill, first touchdown, plus 1,500 MGM. Jets moneyline live, plus 279. So we're rooting. Jonnu Smith, any first touchdown on DraftKings with the boost, plus 2394. Jonnu Smith anytime on DraftKings plus 425. For Monday, Caleb Williams over 5.5 rushing attempts minus 105. This one moved big time, but we got a great number. Pat Freiermuth under 1.5 receptions plus 134. For the Chiefs game tonight, we bet at SGP. We're going to bet another one quickly as well. Kareem anytime touchdown, Juju anytime touchdown, Gibbs 40+ receiving yards, alternate with the boost plus 3,600, and the Jets let up a sack. That's so damn funny, man. Also, to start stream, we bet Seattle money line minus 104. Josh Downs plus 340 anytime touchdown. So that's what we bet on stream. And we had J.K. Dobbins with the FanDuel live boost to score. Obviously, that's chalked at this point, probably more likely than not. Actually, it has to be chalked because they either win or lose. There's no OT really here. But other things that I played, just for everybody's sake, I bet moneyline parlay of Commies, Rams, Steelers. To me, that's not winning. I don't know why I did that, honestly, kind of regretting it, but it was plus 153. Thought it was a good price, kind of. Probably a terrible bet, boys, so sorry. I bet a parlay on DraftKings. Again, this is really for fun. Small bet. Gibbs anytime, Romeo anytime, Lat anytime, and then Tet 50+ receiving yards. I bet also, this is happening as we speak, so I really actually don't want to talk about it, but I have Fields under and RJ Harvey unders. I also bet Waller under 40.5 receiving yards. Juwan Johnson over 32.5 receiving yards. David Montgomery under 47.5 rushing yards. DeAndre Swift under 53.5 rushing yards for Monday. DK over 51.5 receiving yards. KC moneyline minus 125. Colts minus 7. Got in. Charged. That one's not moving in my favor. So big week, boys. If you guys want to tell any of those off, lagging a bit. Looks like I'm back. Sorry, boys. This is it, man. 4th and 8. I don't think they can. They definitely can't kick a field goal from here. Yeah, the Jets' dream was fun while it lasted, man. It was. It was fun while it lasted. Let's go to spreads here and just look at how the market is probably coming close to close out here. 6.5 for Rams Ravens, 3.5 for the Patriots. Probably looking at a 3 now, considering how this has moved. Still 3.5, 3, depending where you look. Some sharper shops at 3. This is the end of the game here for the Jets. Ball snapped. Cowboys, Panthers, down to 2.5 for the boys, or 3. Chargers closing at 3.5. Minus 104. Looks like the market moved back. Oh, this is spread. I have money line. A sack for Cooper to end the game. The pros, I hit Justin Fields under RJ. The pros, not to brag here, though I did give out 2 of these bets on stream on Friday. Fields and Harvey. So if you guys were on stream Friday, that's 2-0 right there. Franklin, I gave out pre-stream. Obviously, this game was at 9 o'clock. I saw it pop up on Pick the Odds, plus 115. I actually have to confirm he didn't get another catch. I could be lying to myself here. Only 3 receptions. Still Loki could get one, though. I think they're kneel now. Let's fucking go. Final spreads, 8.5, got a 7. Steelers are sus. Titans, I'm intrigued by the Titans. Obviously, we're so close to game time. I know it's at 4 o'clock, but it's not worth betting at this point. Bo Nix kneels. Feels good, honestly, for a clean sweep. If you guys were on stream Friday, congrats, boys. We killed it. It was a tough Thursday, but just like that, we went 0-3 on Thursday. We went 3-0 on Sunday at 9 a.m. Technically still down like 0.2-ish because we bet some other first touchdown stuff for Thursday. But now we have everything I listed for the slate today. So, like, that's football betting, man. But glad to be off to a 2-0 start. 2-0 from stream, 3-0 total. Good shit, boys. Lose the 2 live bets, but those are $5 maxes, so I'm not losing sleep there either. And we have massive plays for today. So let's do one more final EV run and see what we can get. Let me just confirm because I haven't looked at the stats. Jets, I had Fields under. That definitely hit, right? So we're looking at it. He got sacked 40 times. Yup, under. RJ Harvey rush receive. Not even fucking close. Beautiful. Love it. I wish I bet the under because I loved it all week. I just didn't pull trigger like a schmuck, but can't cry about it. There's bets to make all day, especially live betting with the NFL. Let's do a final run through here. See if there's anything else that pops. Okay. Muth under receiving yards again, showing some value biz. I don't know if you're still here, but for whatever that's worth. Vidal over here. I would assume I actually like this from one, an EV perspective, but two, like I don't buy it. I'm glad Kalsi's not being devigged here because that is just like crazy. That's like not real what's happening there. Tat showing value to unders. I get it. This alternate Jacoby, I love, to be honest. This Flacco's been there all day, but I still love if you have 365. Debo for tomorrow, he's questionable. Shakir for tomorrow. Honestly, looks like a great price, realistically. Jacoby still showing under. So we're seeing some stuff that's sticking around, which to me is always sus. That's like, why is it staying around? Again, another Tet under. I have his over alt 50, so I wouldn't be shocked there. Yeah, so not seeing a ton here at this point. Final firsts, because the games that I do like think a team's going to win, obviously doesn't mean they have to score first. What do you look for when you love bet? I look for the market, one, like if it's clearly like a mispriced spot in the market, it's a no-brainer. Two, this is probably a bad answer because it's biased, but like say for example, let me actually do an example here. Like what's it? Where was it? There are some times where it's gonna be like a combo of like stats and like ball knowledge with the market. Like so here, for example, Joe Flacco under half a touchdown plus 210. First of all, you're devigging to a bunch of books that I think are sharp and books that you should be devigging from. So the fact that we're getting 7.2% EV, a market average of 134. Oh, for live bet. So live is a kind of a very similar but different animal. And truthfully, Aaron, like I think I need to up my live game. Honestly, I'm not going to sit here like with the EV stuff for pre-flop. I think I have a pretty solid grasp. I've been doing it for months now, and the results are speaking for themselves. But for live, I know that a lot of the live tools, PTO, of course, included, they still do the classic DVigs from. I need to do a little bit better on live because what I will say, and I talked to actually one of the founders or the founder of PTO, him and I are very close. And he is obviously a genius. Look at this product. It's amazing. But two, he was telling me about his live and PTO's value prop when it comes to live betting. And something to look for live that he was telling me, which I need to get better at, is like one of the key things for live betting is like the same way you're going to capitalize on mistakes in like prop markets. Like, for example, that Muth that was up from 132, we hit it 5 minutes later to 106, and that's like aligned. That also happens relatively often, if not more often, in live betting. So one of the things he was telling me to do for PTO, and maybe I got to start doing some live streams like during games more often. I did a lot this summer with baseball, but digression aside, books are going to make mistakes. Like, for example, say this game was live right now. We're not going to see any movement here, but what he was telling me is like when you have all your outs lined up, which of course you should have as many sportsbooks as possible, this is moving as the game happens. Like you're going to see a time eventually where all these books are minus 150. And we saw it with actually Fanatics there. And that was like plus 500 out of nowhere. That's what you're looking for when you're live bet. Like, of course, you could look for the classic DVigs and the classic like off number by a little bit. Like that's always going to be all fair and all good stuff. but you're going to find opportunities where one book on one particular bet just botches entirely. And we actually saw that live with Fanatics there as the whole market was plus 200 and they hung a 500 for like a minute and a half, which for live is crazy long. So that's some things to look for is outside the traditional pre-flop DVIG is also like capitalizing on these like big mistakes that are like likely to happen. And with PTO and its speed, you will see it happen. So I think there is an adjustment to be made to the EV calcs for live, especially now with their new update with liquidity that happens in updates live here. I think PTO is only getting better, which is like on one degree, it's obvious, but on the other degree, it's like amazing how they continue to innovate. This is going to be such a massive feature, and it's really trying to capitalize on those mistakes because they do happen. And being on top of the screen, having your accounts ready, of course, the deep linking here as well, you're going to find those mistakes and be able to capitalize on it. So I'm with you, Aaron, where I need to learn a bit more and up my game there live, but the same principles apply. Then again, massive mistakes happen live. We're getting a ton of EV. So hope that helps a little bit here, but let's do one more look. I mean, I don't want to bet anything in this one. Bet Taysom here. Did we bet a first there? I don't think so. Not that we need to, obviously, but I knew I was looking at some people. First, we bet Chig, Taysom, Jonnu. So no, I will look at this one more time from pricing. So I know we looked at JSN, but the number moves I botched, didn't get in. Sharp didn't move that much. No. Nothing to circuit too, so that's why I was also hesitant. This 9-1 is honestly the sexiest thing that's still left on the board. That might be it for me, though. What's Horton? Oh, Travis Hunter. I was looking for Horton. Saw my H and got excited. I can see Jack scoring first. I'm laying off, honestly, here. Actually, this 28-1 is kind of sexy. I'm not going to lie. Yeah, I'm betting this. I'm betting this. Quick switch. Horton. We're going with some bigger plus money on our first studies today, which is never a bad thing, obviously. 28-1. Second chance as well if you have MGM, which is great. If you don't have MGM, I think it's unfortunately like not a play. Gotta bet it on my other computer. Where is it? Got 20 minutes. I'll be off in like 5, boys. It's been a hell of a stream though, as always. Beautiful. Not interested in this. We already have Jonnu. Weather here, honestly, I'm not so interested. Here, the Lad Keen, the guys I want to bet aren't good, though. Echan had some good value. Cardinals Coates as well. The rest of the games, honestly, I think are just a pass here. So we're going to call it, boys. I ran through all the plays we had before. We know what we have. Horton first tutty, Chig first tutty, Taysom first tutty, Jonnu Smith first and anytime. Caleb over 5.5 rush attempts for tomorrow. Muth under 1.5 receptions. SGP for tonight. Kareem anytime. Juju anytime. Gibbs 40+ receiving. Seahawks money line. Downs anytime. Rams, Commies, Steelers, money line parlay, probably a dumb bet, but whatever, plus 153. Lad, Romeo, Gibbs anytime parlay with Tet 50+ receiving, plus 1259. Waller under 40.5 receiving yards. Juwan Johnson over 32.5. So we love tight ends today. And then also what I bet, Montgomery under 47.5 rushing. And then game line, Swift under 53.5 rushing. Metcalf over 51.5 receiving. And then game lines, I bet KC money line, Colts -7, Chargers -3.5. Colts number's not there anymore, nor is the Chiefs, unfortunately. And then the Chargers, the market's kind of said screw you to me. So if you tail with caution. But shout out to everybody for hopping in stream. It was a hell of a stream. We have so much action. Let's have another amazing week 6. Week 5 was like a slight loser this year. Week 1 and week 2, great. Week 3 got crushed. Week 4, we murdered. Week 5, slight loser. So up for the season. Let's have a big day today. We had a shitty Thursday, but we killed it on the Sunday game. So we're like break even essentially now. So we have a full slate at 0. So let's do it, boys. I'll have some amazing content coming out on YouTube this week, so stick around for that. I have another collab coming out, a couple more long form, and always short form, like literally every week. We have like 5 to 6 short form a week. Long form, trying to do at least one a week. I want to do 2 a week, but like it's tough. At least one a week coming out. So if you're watching on X, go to YouTube, subscribe at Go Bet Smart. If you're on YouTube, hit that like button. And all guys, try Pick the Odds, man. You guys have seen the value it provides. Click the link under the tweet, free trial, get started with Pick the Odds, and mess around with it and ask me questions. I do a lot of content for them and some other tools. So thank you, Pick the Odds, for everything. I'll see you guys on stream tomorrow for the Monday Night Football doubleheader. Any questions, hit me up on Twitter, hit me up on YouTube, either or. And have a great day. Stay safe with this weather if you're on the East Coast, and cash some bets, boys.